everyone, my name is Christina Kraus, and I will be going over mine and my partner's emails that we have made. So for this one that you see on the screen currently, this is my partner Yesenia's, and this is about the Erickson Psychosocial Development Theory. So I'll just be explaining what this is. For this Erickson Psychosocial Development Theory, this is about how we pretty much develop our personalities with the different experiences that we go through in life, starting from when we are first born all the way to adulthood. So there's 8 different stages that this theory consists of that I'll be going over. Here on this slide, you can see that my partner included the ages between each stage. So the first stage is birth to 18 months. The second will be 18 months to 3 years old. The third will be 3 to 6 years. Fourth is 6 to 12 years old. Fifth is starting adolescence. Sixth is young adulthood. And 7 is middle adulthood. And then finally, the 8th stage is late adulthood. Here are 4 of the 8 stages. So the first one is basic trust and basic mistrust. During this stage, this is where an infant develops trust, and usually this is with food being fed, being taken care of by the parent. The second is autonomy versus shame and doubt. So this is where the child begins to be like potty trained, and they use their energy to enhance their physical skills. And then they also, depending on the different conflicts in their life, this is where they can develop shame or doubt based on, how they're raised and what happens during that stage. Third is initiative versus guilt. So this is where the child will start to be more assertive and take more initiative to take care of themselves. This is where they start to develop like dressing themselves and just doing more for themselves. And then, like I said, depending on the conflict or depending on what goes on during this stage of their life, this is where they can develop feeling guilty if anything's like too forceful. And then the fourth stage on this slide is industry and inferiority. So at this stage, this is where the child will start to go to school, and this is where they learn new skills and feel new emotions, such as failure. They feel like, they're at school and they're not able to understand like math problem. And this is where they could just also feel incomplete as well. Okay, and then these are the other 8 stages, other 4 out of the 8 stages. So the 5th is identity versus role confusion. In this stage, this is where they're a teenager and they begin to explore, really identify who they are as a person, their gender roles, religion, politics, just become more aware of those things. And this is where they might feel a little confused with who they are or start to develop and know, like, okay, is this the person I want to be? 6 is intimacy and isolation. So as they become a young adult, they begin to create intimate relationships, and they could also feel isolation and suffer from those like feelings of, having friends and having those relationships as well. And then 7 is a little hard to see, but this is, let's zoom in here, generativity and stagnation. Hope I'm pronouncing those right. So this is when they step away from their young adulthood and they start to stage of supporting the next generation and take the role of a parent. So start having a family, start having kids, just start, later on where they're just helping their younger generation just grow up and guide them. And then 8 over here is ego integrity versus despair. So once they reach late adulthood, they begin to feel acceptance and a sense of fulfillment and reflect on their life. So you're older, this is where you have an ego now. This is where you kind of identify and know who you are, and you stick to your beliefs and things like that. Okay, and the next slide. Did I get information? Okay, Marcia's. Okay, exploration. So this is where James Marcius, so the way he explains the process through adolescence is they go through alternate beliefs in order to achieve a higher satisfaction. And next, commitment. So another theory of his is where the identity and statuses of people choices are based off of religion and politics. Identity and achievement. This theory is based off of commitment towards life choices after seeing other options. Moratorium. This is, to put it in simple terms, the theory is playing identity crisis where, our choices are halted due to struggle. And then we have identity foreclosure. So another theory by James Marcia is the theory of acceptance from parental choices due to the struggle or due to struggles. And lastly, we have identity diffusion. So this theory is mainly confusion about who one is and loss about their desires and goals. Okay, and that was the end of my partner's emails. I'm going to go ahead and go into my emails, which is social emotional learning. Okay, so this is my emails of social emotional learning theory. This is the front page. Moving on. Okay, so social emotional learning, this is the video definition. It's the process through which children and adults acquire and effectively apply the knowledge, attitudes, and skills necessary to understand and manage emotions, set and achieve positive goals, feel and show empathy for others, establish and maintain positive relationships, and make responsible decisions. And this is my summarization of the definition and my definition of social emotional learning theory. So social emotional learning theory is a person taking their knowledge and skills and applying it to manage their emotions, which emotions affect us every day. That is why it is good to teach children and adults how to control their emotions, so that way they can have a clear mind on learning things. When learned, this helps people set and achieve goals, feel and show empathy towards others, establish and maintain positive relationships, and helps them make responsible decisions. So I wanted to include some tools that they talked about in the video of how we can just control our emotions and what we can do. So taking a deep breath before reacting to a situation, respond, do not react. Changing your mindset on things. Example, instead of being upset you got a red light, turn the time into a simple mindset. Look at it as a pause to your day and reflect for a few seconds. Another example of this that we can use in a learning environment or in a classroom is to teach children if they're not getting a math problem, to not get frustrated with this and freak out, but just to know that they just need a little more practice and to take what they don't know and just try to get better at it by doing different problems, or maybe asking if it can be explained in another way or shown in another way, based off what learning, what helps them learn. And then also some tools are self-care, listening to family and friends, teachers, peers, support local schools and nonprofit organizations. All right, and these are the top 10 skills. So as mentioned in the video, um, jobs, when looking for candidates now, they are looking for these top 10 things. So hopefully with social emotional learning, this is going to help them develop these skills. So first one, the cognitive flexibility, negotiation skills, service orientation, judgment and decision making, emotional intelligence, coordinating with others, people management, creativity, critical thinking, and complex problem solving. So I would say the top three that, would definitely be helpful in schools and what's part of, social emotional learning and just 21st century learning is creativity, critical thinking, and complex problem solving. All right, and these are the key words of social emotional learning. So we have responsive caregiving, which is in effect teaching practice. It's the response of a teacher nurturing a child's needs and temperament. This helps build social back and forth responsive. Next one is affective. This is determined by the student's motivation, attitudes, perceptions, and values. Teachers are able to increase their effectiveness based on their planning courses, the way they are delivering the information through lecture and activities, and also assessments. And then we have emotional security. So making sure someone feels safe. Once a student feels safe, this security will help them begin to build relationships, explore, and try new things. And also feeling safe equals for possible learning outcomes. Then we have empathy. So building empathy is important to teach this. This allows teachers, or our teachers will allow students to listen to their peers' experiences without judgment, and then this also helps build empathy and just builds that empathy skills so that way they can just grow with caring for one another. All right, and then we have temperament. So this is how a child reacts and responds to certain situations. This can be affected by mood, emotions, such as frustration, sadness, and their level of fear. Then we have self-efficacy. So this one is the ability and belief to accomplishing a goal. High self-efficacy. You are able to control your motivation, behavior, and environment. You become an advocate of your own needs. And then we have emotion regulation. You are controlling your behavior and emotion using different social emotional learning tools to regulate your social emotions. Then sense of self. You have the ability to understand your thoughts, your emotions, and values. You also understand how these things can affect your behavior. And this will be the last two keywords for this theory. So we have impulse control, the ability in managing one's stress and not acting out of impulse situations, such as buying a car right away without even doing your research on it. And then we have, lastly, social understanding. So this is interacting with others, showing that you understand their beliefs and needs. You recognize the value of your impact on them. And when in a social situation, you use cooperation and tolerance. Okay, well, that's it for my EMAs. And that was my partner EMAs for the Erickson theory. I hope that you guys enjoyed and learned something new about these theories. Thanks for watching.